he's in a constant state of getting mad with Batman, fighting Batman, getting humbled, and then right after that, like kind of making amends. And it's this constant cycle. It's like, bro, if you want to kill the Joker, just do it. When he's in Arkham Asylum, just go to the Joker's like crib. Like, is it that hard? You have to pick your poison, right? Would you rather have talent come in who are for sure going to push the envelope, give you new ideas, and just make good stories? Or will you take the risk on that new writer who might take it further than that established writer, but also has a chance of just falling into the tropes of repeating things that have been done in the past, right? And just keeping that book in stagnation. Oh, I have Mary Jane. Nope, go back down. Oh, I have this new girlfriend, I have this house, I'm getting my stuff together. Nope. It's like they always pull it under the rug from the character, and it's like, why do this? Marvel, he is your cash cow. Do something, please. Now, don't get me wrong. I love comics. Ever since I've been basically a little kid, it's been one of my favorite pastimes, a thing that I kind of got into, or kind of like realized in the past 4, 5, 6 years, is that I've been reading comics that have elevated the medium to the point of a blockbuster film that you would see coming from an all-star filmmaker like a Martin Scorsese, like a Christopher Nolan. I've seen and I've read comics like that for they're literally just $3 comics, right? And now you can just get it online too. So it's like all of these things, right? You could see the storytelling potential, the art. What I really like is how you can go for the more realistic ones, the more cartoonish ones, the more abstract, supernatural types of art storytelling, the visual storytelling, in a way that you can't really do in animation, and more specifically live action, right? This medium allows you to do anything. You have an unlimited budget to not only for your visual craft, but like for the story you're telling, the words that you have, right? What you can do, you can write in any way that you want. You don't have to try to be mainstream. You can make things that are for a specific group of people. I know, like, for now, it's like, if it's not going to be for everyone, a lot of filmmakers, a lot of studios don't want to take a risk on it. But for comics, they can, especially the indie comics, they can do anything, right? Especially if they're able to get that first pitch through and somebody there likes it, right? There's a bigger chance to get it through. So comics as a whole, as a medium, has been one of my favorites, and it doesn't always have to be pretentious too. I like just my fighting, just beat 'em up comics, right? My favorites are just superheroes. I don't even have to like the Vertigo titles, or the ones that are based on real life, or ones that are trying to get like super horror oriented using figures that are like more or less human. I like my superheroes. I like just seeing them not only clash, but I like the dialogues. You're able to do a lot of cool things in the superhero market, where I think that when compared to the films, they're so much more elevated. The typical dialogue in a great superhero comic can be way head over heels above what you would see in what people would perceive to be a great comic book movie. And while all these things that I'm saying are true, and I feel like a lot of you, if you've taken up like comics as a whole and not have been like pushed away from the inaccessibility aspect of comics, which, to be honest, it's like one of those things where it's like you say it enough times and it becomes true, right? Like how like we as people kind of like put a value onto certain things, but like we did it wasn't there before. It's kind of like that. A lot of people have said that comics are inherently hard to get into because do you start a Batman #1 from 1940, Batman #1 from 2011, Batman #1 from 2016? Guess what? You can choose any. I got you. There's your answer. And it's one of those things where it's not that hard. Just find a run or something that looks cool and start from there. You don't need to know anything and everything. And if there's something you're missing, usually there's an editor's note to tell you where to go to find that comic, or it's common knowledge enough that you've probably seen it through cartoons or movies, or the final option, just research it. It's not that hard. There's whole DC and Marvel wikis, and I, as a lore person, I like doing that. And let's not lie here. I know a lot of you do that. I know a lot of you, when you see a character show up, I know for a fact when you saw Sentry in that Thunderbolts trailer, you went and checked his wiki. I know you're not slick, but still. Anyways, getting off of my tangent, what I want to talk about today is that despite all of these factors and this little rant that I went on, one of the problems that I think that kind of plague comics is circular storytelling. Hey guys, post-production Natrix here, just popping in to say that if you guys do enjoy my videos, please hit post notifications so you know when a new video goes live. Without further ado, let's continue. Your bigger heroes will be affected by it more than the smaller ones, but they can still be affected as well. But let's use an example, the big three, right? Does the big three fall under this category? Well, yes, they've been around the longest. They've had probably the most comics. They have felt this loop. But the thing is, a lot of times you can use this loop, but because of the context and because of new situations, them using previous plot points or just whatever it may be can be seen as something new and unique, and that's something new writers actually use to their advantage, right? To have a little nod to past things that came maybe 30-40 years ago while still continuing on the story. These things are recognized. These are things that people want to see, right? They want to see that their knowledge and their reading actually matters, right? Because let's be honest, the common reader hasn't read all that stuff, and it's honestly just a lot of times they're just good tropes, right? And if you put those good tropes into a more modern vehicle of writing, or a more modern vehicle to write with, then it can become elevated to when it was in, say, the 70s or the 80s, whenever they wrote it, right? Especially if it was in the 60s, 50s, 40s, a lot of reinvention gets done with those concepts to make something completely new. For example, the Batman of Zur-En-Arrh. It used to be an alien, right, from a different planet, that when Batman went to that alien's planet, he got Superman-level superpowers. But Grant Morrison, one of my favorite writers, what he did in his run was that he said that he was actually a alternate backup personality in case Bruce Wayne ever gets removed from his psyche from whatever mental attacks, and he kind of takes over as this true aspect of Batman who's essentially more violent, more brutal, more open to killing. He's basically the Batman without his humanity, and that I just found completely just interesting, seeing an actually truly deeply unhinged Batman, because I know a lot of people say Batman is unhinged. Yes, he kind of is in certain aspects, but like overall I can count on Batman to make a good moral choice. And I know a lot of people would be angry at those moral choices, but I can count on him not to go too over the line. Zur-En-Arrh, he's a definition of a wild card, right? And those kinds of reinventions are completely fine. I think no one has an issue with those. My problem is when it goes to, let's say, a Spider-Man. The problem with Spider-Man is when you reenact and you redo certain things over and over and over again, certain character arcs, certain story beats, certain plot points, but it's happening within the time span of 10 to 20 years or 10 to 15 years. It's like it's in the lifespan of the normal comic reader to go through, right? Like if I'm reading comics at, I don't know, 2015, I'm more than likely, if I love the medium enough, to still be reading at 2025. Going even further, 2005, if I like it enough, yes. It gets, I think, a lot of like outsiders and a lot of normies kind of get like heated about this because they look at something as, say, a manga as more superior because there is only one writer and they can't really fall for these certain things, which, yes, they can if it goes on enough, if it goes on long enough, but the superhero kind of like medium is great because you're able to get new writers and they can put their own spin on it, and it kind of reinvents it in a way that makes it interesting, right? Like Grant Morrison's run is completely different from Greg Rucka's run. One of them is completely mind-boggling, supernatural, just mind-numbing because you have to use your brain to kind of put apart and put together certain pieces to get the most out of that comic run, while Greg Rucka's run is just high-level just writing in a crime noir aesthetic, right? And that's great. The problem is when it's a Spider-Man situation where it's like you break up with Mary Jane, you get rid of all these things, oh, you're back, oh, I'm on the top again, I'm at this level, I'm great, I have Parker Industries, oh, I'm gonna take you back down, oh, I have Mary Jane, nope, go back down, oh, I have this new girlfriend, I have this house, I'm getting my stuff together, nope. That's like they always pull it under the rug from the character, and it's like, why do this? Marvel, he is your cash cow, do something, please. And it's like, how? For 10, you're the, okay, Spider-Man, specifically the Amazing Spider-Man comic run, or just like the comic book in and of itself, is its top seller. That and X-Men usually. So it's like, you're gonna let it be. I mean, the thing is, Marvel knows that ASM has the most hate readers of all time. They will never let it go. They will still buy the book just to hate on it. So and it gets news, right? It gets it gets people thinking, and it gets people talking about these certain like controversial things, right? So they do it on purpose. I know they do. I hope they do, because if they know, actually, Nick Lowe has said, and Joe Quesada, like previous editors, have said some like out of touch, mind numbing things that make you think, do they actually believe what they're saying? They might at this point. But if you look at an anti-hero, for example, I spoke about this in my Red Hood YouTube short, but I talked about how Red Hood is a classic example of circular storytelling, because he's in a constant state of getting mad with Batman, fighting Batman, getting humbled, and then right after that, like kind of making amends. And it's this constant cycle. It's like, bro, if you want to kill the Joker, just do it, bro. When he's in Arkham Asylum, just go to the Joker's like crib. Like, is it that hard? Dude, like, you don't have to fight, bro, just because you don't agree with his ideology. Just do it. Like, you don't, like, even in the Red Hood comic, and even in the animated movie, which is one of my favorite, probably, it's kind of sad that Red Hood peaked that early in his introduction, but like, even in that, like, it made for good storytelling, but it's also like, why do you want Batman to shoot the Joker? You know, it's like, do you really want him dead, or do you want Batman to I guess it's a bit of both, right? He wants him to agree with him. But if you look at the Sentry is kind of in this loop, which is probably why they had to kill him, but he's in this loop of being a Deus Ex Machina and essentially having to be that character where every other character gets kind of like power scaled to. They get scaled to, because like they get put in that position just to fight, right? Then he gets beat up or he wins, and that makes that character look more impressive. It happened with Blue Marvel, it happened with Hulk, it happened with Thor, and it happened with Null the final time when he died, right? He's just a, I don't want to say a set piece, but he's like a MacGuffin. They use him in the final moments to kind of pull the plot back so that he could save the day, or more likely they just get beat up. And then people want to say that he'll be Superman to my face. Are you serious? It gets worse when you look at characters that they leave alone. When you see someone like a Daredevil regressing, when you see someone like a Sinestro and a Green Lantern regressing, it's like, you know, you've run out of ideas when you're doing that with these characters who not only have such large storytelling potential, but they've been on a long, hard arc where they've been just going hits after hits. And it's like, they really wanted to break their win streak. Like, characters like a Green Lantern and Daredevil, they've been going on for pretty long win streaks, and they just cut it from you. It's like, why would you do this? Just give it to. I know a Donny Cates would like to write a Green Lantern. Give him the book. I know like a Jonathan Hickman, he would like to write Daredevil. Give him the. You know what I mean? It's like, it's so frustrating when you know there's writers that are capable, but I know you want to get like the new blood in there, because that's how you'd get a Ram V, for instance, writing the New Gods, which if you haven't read, it's peak, and a Detective Comics. Ram V really came in and gave us, you know what, you guys, you Batman fans have been starving a bit, I got you with a 5-course meal if you'll have it. And I was like, I gladly accept it. And it's like, these are these kind of things where it's like, you have to pick your poison, right? Would you rather have talent come in who are for sure going to push the envelope, give you new ideas, and just make good stories? Or will you take the risk on that new writer who might take it further than that established writer, but also has a chance of just falling into the tropes of repeating things that have been done in the past, right? And just keeping that book in stagnation. But what do you guys think? I think this is a very interesting topic with no real answer, right? Because I like both. I like pushing forward. I like revisiting things, but it's also a time and a place. That's what it's dependent on, right? Because if you are someone, or if you're a run that's like relying on previous material to your detriment, right? You're relying on it for every other issue to kind of like debate the people into like feeling that nostalgia. You failed your job as a creator. But in general, The problem with it is that there's too many writers in the industry who aren't capable, right? I don't know how they have the job, right? And if you have all these people following that circular pattern, it's going to lead to a loop where they're doing the same thing over and over again, and then it leads to declining comic sales. But that's what we've seen. That's what I don't want to say continue to happen, because comic sales, and especially the new universes, like if you see the absolute universe from DC and the ultimate universe from Marvel, it's a prime example that the audience, they want new things, right? So maybe that's what we go for now. I think we've been in the past for far too long, and perhaps we just need to move forward. Anyways, guys, what do you think? Let me know in the comments down below. Remember to like and subscribe, all that good stuff. Turn on post notifications so you know when a new video goes live. And yeah, see you all later.